Hey folks, Marzulli here. Welcome to the newest show. We call it The Vault. You know, in all of our travels, there's a lot of film that we shoot, and we never do anything with it. Right now, there's 30 films in the catalog. It gives you an idea. So the first one I want to show you is when we were in Newark, Ohio, years ago, with Todd Willis, who's a surveyor, and Fritz Zimmerman, who, in some ways, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for Fritz's book. But we'll get into that. And first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. The man is in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. So here's a true story. We lost a house in 2018 and we moved over to Thousand Oaks down in the valley. And it was culture shock. Peggy and I had PTSD. Anyway, there was a YMCA there and I joined it. There was a workout. There were 2 workout trailers, I believe, and the trailers were really good size, double wides, and they had all this workout equipment in them. I go in there on a Sunday morning, and I start working out. There's this older guy in there with me, and I'm following him on the circuit as we're going around the machines, and I'm realizing that this guy is packing some guns up here. I mean, I'm doing one of these presses like this, and he's doing 40, 50 pounds more than my maximum weight. He's about my height. He's also got some paper in his hand. It looks like a script. So I strike up a conversation. I go, "Wow, you're really lifting some heavy weights here. I guess you've been doing this for." "Oh yeah, I've been doing this forever." Blah blah blah. "You trying out for a part?" And he kind of grins and looks at me and goes, "Yeah, it's a script." So we keep working out. I don't bother him anymore. As I'm getting ready to leave, I go, "Hey, nice meeting you. Hope to see you again. Good luck with the part. Hope you get it." So this is a true story, folks. I'm walking out to the car and the light bulb goes off. Oh my gosh, that's Chuck Norris. It's like, hello. And that's happened more than once. The bottom line is, this is true. This is no hype. He's in amazing shape. Okay, let's continue. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/LA or by clicking on the link below this video. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/LA. Click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. You won't believe how simple it is. Just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old and yet has more energy than I do. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply by focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. Folks, check this out. Please go to the description box below, chuckdefense.com/LA, www.chuckdefense.com/LA. So here's the deal. And I've told this story before, but I want to tell it again. So I'm getting ready to go on a plane, and my good friend and battle buddy, Russ Dizdar, calls me up. And he goes, "LA, do you know where you're going?" I go, "Yeah, I'm going to Ohio." And he starts chuckling. You had to know Russ. When Russ started chuckling like that, he knew something, and he was going to spring it on you. So he sprung it on me, all right. He goes, "LA, are you on your computer?" I go, "Yeah, it's right here." He goes, "Google Fritz Zimmerman, Fallen Angels in the Ohio Valley, Nephilim Chronicles." I go, "What? What are you talking about, Russ Dizdar?" So I Google that, and I'm sitting here going, "You've got to be kidding me." So Russ and I finished the conversation. I'm on a plane very early in the morning to Ohio from Los Angeles, from LAX, and I order the book, but I also get the PDF. I have a 5-hour plane ride. So I'm reading this thing cover to cover, and that's the nexus for the whole On the Trail of the Nephilim series. And Fritz has been in quite a few of them. And Fritz's book opened up a vista, if I can use that word, into all things Nephilim architecture, fallen angel technology, which is why when we go down to Peru, Sacsayhuaman, Ollantaytambo, sites like that, when we go into Ohio, Teotihuacan, Mexico, back to Ohio where all the mountains are, and we're working on a film on this, which should come out sometime in January, early February. We'll see what happens. But we have a different perspective. than mainstream archaeology. And you'll be hearing from mathematicians, archaeologists, surveyors, and of course our good friend Fritz Zimmerman. So that's coming up soon, and that's the next On Patrol of the Nephilim series. So Fritz and I and Todd Willis are at the Great Circle Mount in Ohio. And again, this little back and forth between Fritz and Todd, it's only like a 3-minute clip, but we've never used it. I've never used it in any of the films. I think you'll find it interesting as they go back and forth about geometry, trigonometry, measuring devices. In other words, if the Native Americans, if the so-called Shawnee, don't have the ability to do this and to check their work, and you remember back 2,000 years ago or whatever, this was prairie. Ohio was all prairie. There are no trees there for the most part. So what are we really looking at here? Is there a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world? In my opinion, yes, there is. Okay, here's the clip.
My thoughts are from the literature I've seen. I haven't seen anything that they have said in the literature that explains exactly how they did it. From the surveying standpoint, I mean, speaking strictly of surveying, I'm not sure if they knew. They would have had to know how to measure things on the surface of the ground to do something like this. Like you said, to check your work, because it's too big to see, from climbing up a tree and look and say, well, okay, that looks good. These are large distances they're working with, and the ground's not level. So you've got to have some idea of how to measure things. But I haven't seen, as far as what you asked, I haven't seen anything documented or literature like they found some measuring device or something out here, archaeologically speaking, how to do something like this. So I don't know how they did it.
Let me add one thing is that 2,000 years ago, this was all prairie, so there was no trees.
Right.
So there was no tree to go up to look down. So it's just grassland here.
True.
So.
Right. Yeah, it'd be hard to climb a tree and really visually. Well, it's hard to visually look across the ground and see elevations or distances anyway. Human beings really can't do that. We don't have the ability to. I'm pretty good at probably measuring 100 yards. I could guess at it pretty good, how far something is. But to be as accurate as these are, you've got to use some, other than your eyes, you have to use some kind of device to measure.
And, I was able to get through college with very little math. I was lucky. But if I wanted to build this, what level of college mathematics would you have to attain to be able to accomplish this?
Well, you'd have to know trigonometry. So you could actually get, if you took trigonometry in high school, you would, and passed it, you would be able to do this. This is trigonometry and algebra. A little bit of it, but mainly just trigonometry, knowing sine, cosine, tangent, the Pythagorean theorem, just the simple calculations of a triangle. That's all we do in surveying. It's all we use is trigonometry. It's how we calculate everything, and we lay everything out based on trig, angles and distances. So.
And you saw from the drawings that there actually is a Pythagorean triangle that connects.
Yeah, I saw that. It was 3, 4, 5. Yep. Yeah, that's what builders use to square things up at houses. Square corners, 3, 4, 5 triangle.
Quite a coincidence.
They could have somehow stumbled into that. Maybe learned how to use that to make to square things. But as far as a circle, it's completely different. You got to be able to working from center point and working out. So it's a lot different shape. A circle is. I think that's some of the angles are impressive at how they were done, but this circle, how good it is impressive to me with the size of it. To be able to measure something like that on the ground, because the ground's not flat, so you have to be able to correct for slope distance.
And while building it, because you're on a circle and your cuts have to be perfect as you're going around. Right. Any deviation from that, and you end up with an oval.
You wouldn't know if you were right or wrong. You know what I mean? If you kept measuring incorrectly when you were done, it wouldn't have been a perfect circle. It'd be like an oval shape. You wouldn't know that you were measuring incorrectly over a large distance.
Drawing a perfect circle on a piece of paper is almost impossible. So doing it on this massive a scale.
Doing on the ground, it's pretty hard to do. We could do it easily today, but I'm not sure how they did it.
So there it is. if you don't have the math, then you don't have the math. And you're not a racist for saying that. And the analogy I use all the time is, okay, I'm Italian. My heritage is Italian, okay? So I could say, well, the Italians invented the airplane. Well, a group of people could go, yes, the Italians invented the airplane. It was the quick thing of a name. But whatever. I mean, seriously? The Italians did not invent the airplane. The Wright brothers did. They messed with it. I get it. But they didn't invent the airplane. So if the Shawnee did not build the Great Circle Mound, then who did? If the Shawnee have no knowledge of trigonometry, advanced mathematics, have no way of measuring things accurately, and then how do you check your work? Then the Shawnee didn't do it. In fact, we have on record Chief Joseph, it's one of our, I think it's the second or third one, where Chief Joseph talks about this, that Chief Wallace, who's the chief of the Shawnee, stated on the record that the Shawnee did not build these sites. They were there when we got them. Go back into the early historic record where first white settlers come in and they ask the indigenous people, who built this? We don't know. It was here when we got here. How many times have I heard that? And why is it a racist if we repeat what's in the historical record? Chief Cornstalk stated that they didn't do this. There was a race of giants that were here. And if you say that, you're ridiculed, you're laughed, and it's all this other stuff. But the Smithsonian, and I'm going to dig out this clip with Mondo Gonzalez, remind me to do this, where Mondo and I interviewed on this, and I've never really done anything with it. I will probably use it in an upcoming on the trail, but I could certainly take it and kind of run with it, because Mondo's done a deep dive on what the Smithsonian has already stated. So it's just unbelievable. Anyway, folks, our Christmas store and Rungs of Disclosure flying out of the store. There's some great deals. The 10-box DVD set. We're the only Christian ministry on the planet that has 10 films on the whole UFO phenomena. We believe, when I say we, my business partner, Gil Zimmerman and myself, we believe in the physicality of the UFO phenomena. We believe people are taken. They go through the window. They are implanted. Sperm is taken from the men, ovum from the woman. It all hails back to the biblical prophetic narrative. And why should you be surprised with that? What does Daniel 2:43 state? That their seed will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not cleave to them. Is that demonic delusion? Of course it's not demonic delusion. It's the seed war. Genesis 3:15 is the basis for our films. Close Encounters of the First, Second, Third, Fourth Kind. The Abduction Phenomenon, where we feature Karen Wilkins, who we also published her book, Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest. Crop circles, and we zone in on the crop circle in a field of standing corn that's 8 feet tall. You can't make a crop circle in a field of corn that's 8 feet tall with string and a rope going around because it's 8 feet tall. How do you do that? How do you do that? And it's the real deal. It's the real deal. But we're also in the Crop Circle Museum with Exopolitics, the president of Exopolitics Portugal, Francisco Carrera, and also Hugh Newman, who's all things UFO, been on Ancient Aliens a gazillion times. So we're in the Crop Circle Museum in England. Then, of course, our Academy Mutilation film, darkest film I've ever worked on. I want to thank again our friend Chuck Zukowski for helping us with that. And thank you. The 2 films that we have on Roswell, Exoneration and In the Debris Field. And then, of course, What is the Truth, where we sit down with people like Nick Pope, George Norrie, and others, Gary Stearman, Mondo Gonzalez, Pastor Matt Freeman. Some names you'll know instantly, others yet you won't. But we're talking about disclosure and what it means to us. Anyway, LAMarzulli.com, LAMarzulli.com. Thanks for coming to the vault. We're going to do at least once a week, sometimes 2. Thanks for coming here, folks. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli, and coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains. Okay, John, that's that one. And I'll stop it and do another one.